where the region's best musicians are in the spotlight. The Homegrown Rocker on Rocky 99 and Rocky 104.9. Where the region's best musicians are in the spotlight. The Homegrown Rocker on Altoona's rock station, Rocky 104.9.
Welcome back to the Homegrown Rocker on Rocky 104.9 and Rocky 99. I'm the Professor Jim Price. We have Big Atlantic in the studio with us. And talking a little bit more about the first CD, where did you record it?
We recorded it in Benton, New Jersey, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in our own studio. JKG, it's in our house. Did our guitar tracks and bass tracks. And
real convenient.
Yeah, and we did Tom's pre-production tracks, too, for quite a long time. And we did scratch vocals there, and we took the CD, or all the tracks, up to Rob Freeman, ready to go except for the drums and the vocals. We wanted to do those with him. And
the pilot studio.
And Tom, had a great time tracking his drums.
Oh, yeah.
And tell him about your little drumming experience.
Oh, man, it was a blast. Rob Freeman's great to work with. He's got a real big drum room you can play around in, and all sorts of snare drums you can use, and he knows when to kick you into gear and when to just let you rock. So it went over really smooth. We did a couple songs a day, and then we would do some vocals, and then we'd do percussion, and then go back to the drum set. So it was a real good experience, and wasn't too stressful at all. Just rock and roll.
He actually complimented us, and it's funny because he works with a lot of nationals himself and stuff, and he said, you guys get along great in the studio, and he's like, you guys get along better than any band I've ever had in here, And we were looking at each other like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm ready to tear his head off, but
You can't tell.
We got along good. I mean, it was a great experience, and the best recording experience I've ever had with a band. We all got along great. So
when you got into the studio to record, did you have a pretty good idea already what you wanted the finished product to sound like, or was it something that came together as the process went along, and you were open to changes and going elsewhere with the music as the process continued?
Both. We were kind of rolling with the punches. I mean, the cool thing about it is ultimately I think we all had a vision of what we wanted the record to sound like. Or and I know I did. I know Tom did. But
the songs were done though.
Yeah.
So we kind of had an idea where it was coming.
Yeah, and what we figured out too was it was cool because I kind of had a vision of what I wanted, vocals and guitar, and then once you kind of realize, hey, I don't have to worry about Tom on the drums. I don't have to worry about the other instrumentalists in the band, and I trusted Tom, and I'm glad I did because he's a great drummer, and he just had a vision where he wanted the drums to be. And I let him have, that, and he let me have this. And that's why the record came out the way it did. And, he's got feel in there, and I got feel in there. If I would have told him what to play or he would have told me what to sing or whatever, I don't think the record would have turned out the way it did. So.
No. Yeah, there isn't really one person with creative control, per se, We all have, I would say Lee writes the majority of the songs. He's got a great creative side, but he doesn't, take that control of the band, though, saying this is the song, this is the way it's got to be. We all write very well together, and we take each other's critique, and sometimes we'll just rip a song apart and build it from the ground up.
And we love it, too. We love working together. It's nuts because a lot of bands don't, and someone wants, this to sound like this, but we love it.
I mean, a lot of times we have the same ideas when we're beginning creative and writing. We'll be listening to a song, and it's like, that maybe we should change that line. And then, two other three are like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And it's just no egos in the band. Everyone just lets everybody express whatever they want to, and comes
everything
together. Means
something. Because then you're always curious, too. I mean, I find myself like, what's it going to sound like if I actually listen to them? So that's that. But
that's how you stumble onto great things.
Mm-hmm.
How can listeners get a hold of this CD if they like what they're hearing tonight?
They can go to iTunes and type in our name, Big Atlantic, 2 words, or they can go to Facebook, and there's a link to our website on there, facebook.com/Big Atlantic. You can go to bigatlantic.com. We have our online store on there. You can get the record there, and there's a link at the top of the page to our iTunes. You can go and buy it there as well.
You can always pick it up at a show, too.
Yeah, you can pick it up at a show.
Yep.
More than welcome to.
And we'll be repeating all that information a little bit later on as well. And in moments, you'll have a chance to win a copy of the Big Atlantic CD, too. After we introduce the next song you're about to hear, gentlemen, what would you like to say about Change?
Might be my favorite track on the record.
Lee, you
Might
could
just be.
probably speak to that one. You wrote that, what, a couple hours in the studio?
Yeah. The funny story is I sat down with the guitar, I hit the red button, and I started to just play and just started to, I think every guitar player can relate, or any musician, songwriter, anybody just sits down every once in a while and just hits that red button and just jams and forgets the recording, And I was like, there's some cool parts in here, and I wonder what would happen if we just make a song just the way it is, and it's a very linear song. It just doesn't really come back. It's very progressive, and it's got that whole Alice in Chains thing going on in the chorus or bridge, whatever you guys want to call it. But I call it the bridge. But yeah, it's just about going through changes. Certain changes, and with everything in life, everything from everybody runs into that point. I think you're going a change in their relationship, and then they also simultaneously got a change in their life going on, or a career, and it's just all about multiple amounts of changes going on at once, and that's really what the song, why it doesn't come back again. So it makes sense. It's a linear song. It doesn't really come back. You're moving on. It's a changing song. So
Always changing.
yeah. So that's Change for you.
Let's check it out. And while we're checking it out, let's give away a copy of Big Atlantic CD. Call number 4 right now at area code 814-946-5050. 946-5050. Caller 4 wins. And from that CD, this is Change. Big Atlantic music on the Homegrown Rocker.